Hi, welcome to Nanny's Country Treasures. If you ain't been here before, I'm Joanna, and I'm glad you're here. Normally, I do home decor DIYs, and I see things on Pinterest or in stores or whatever, and I do redo them, I dupe them. I do a lot of Dollar Tree DIYs and things of that nature, and I'm not going to stop doing that. But if you follow me for any length of time, you know that I like to sew, and I have some sewing videos. I have had people ask me to teach them how to sew, or to show them, how to sew. Some are my church people, and I actually did that one time with a church group, and I have sewn for many years. Okay, I've made my own skirts. I've done a lot of things. I used to sew kids' clothes, ruffled outfits, and stuff like that, and sell them. When I did this group, y'all, I couldn't even do it. I sewed my own skirt wrong because my nerves were in such a tizzy. Y'all, I could not do that in public. And I'm not a teacher. One-on-one, I can help you some, but then I'm still, if I know it, I think you should know it too. And when you're not doing it right, I want to shove you out of the way and just do it myself. That's a bad problem I have. I admit that. But nonetheless, I figure, since I do my YouTube channel, that it might be beneficial for some of you to know this. You never know when you want to sew something, or hem a pair of pants, or a skirt that's too long, or, make a gift. You can make a lot of gifts that are sewing projects, and they're nice. So anyways, I have a sewing playlist. These will start being linked in my sewing playlist for you. And what it's going to be is a Sew It Saturday. Okay, and that's when I'm going to start from the basics, y'all. If you don't know your machine, you can't sew. I want to add, before we even get started with this, it may seem pretty basic, but it's like this. You have to learn, just like you had to learn to walk. You fell a few times. So don't be discouraged if you don't get it, or, it takes a little time. You had to learn to drive. You couldn't just get in a car and go and stay in the lines or whatever, So anything you try, such as sewing or anything else, it's a learning curve, you got to learn it. So just like a gas pedal in a car, you have to learn how to use that pedal for sewing, for your speed and whatnot. And, you got to learn to stay in your lines, just like driving. So don't be discouraged. And I know, like I said, this video is a little slow, on the slow side. I have a machine. I have 3 in my description box from Amazon that I know are good machines. One of them, I actually have an older version, but it's the same thing, and I'll show you in a minute. This is the one that I actually recommend. It is a tough machine. I make jean skirts from jeans, and it sews through that. The brother that's linked there is one like my daughter has that I gave her. I bought it, and I just don't like a brother. I'll just be honest with you. I don't care for the brothers. You might. That's your preference. That's my preference. But I don't care for them. And this is a pretty basic machine, but it's not so basic that you can't do it. My pastor's wife, for example, has I'm pretty sure it's a brother machine, and it's really basic, but it's got all these knobs on there, and you have to turn this knob to match this knob, and this and that and the other, and it is so complicated. She can't sew with it. I tried to go over there and hem something. I had trouble. I just didn't care for it. I just don't. This is simple. It's easy, and it's a good machine. That's why I recommend this one. I'll tell you more about it down here, but I forgot what I was going to say. So let's get started. But y'all, this is the first time you've seen me in a while. So hi. Okay. This is my machine. Pretty basic. It doesn't look like this no more. Let me try to show you. Let me see if this is in the picture. This is what it will look like. This is the updated. Okay? And it just looks a little bit different. Like the controls here are different, but it's basically the same. So I'm going to teach you, first of all, the basics of this machine. And I'm going to explain to you what it does and how it works. And I hope I'm not making too much noise. I got the mic on my shirt and I'm not used to that. There are only, when I checked a while ago, 2 in stock. Okay? There's only 2 in stock. You can find them at other places, but it's $219 at the place where I'm showing you right now. I lost my paper. It has, when you get your machine, this is your selector, and yours are going to be here, but this is the selector to select your stitch. This is your stitch length. That's how long your stitch is going to be. This down here is for buttons, which you don't need to know that right now. And this right here is the width. 0 will be a straight stitch. Up to 5 will be how big your zigzag is going to spread. Okay, when you do a zigzag stitch. I usually put this on 3 or 4 to do a straight stitch. So I'm going to leave it at 3. This machine will have, most new machines have automatic tension. Tension deals with your thread and all that on how it's going to pull and sew. Automatic tension means, you see this don't have a square around it, if you can see, but the 5, 4, and 3 normally do. So you need to keep it in that range. So I normally keep it on the 4. If your stitches aren't coming out right, that can be adjusted. Okay, it has snap-on presser feet, which is a lever back there. Your presser feet go on and off that way. Very, very convenient. I cannot put that on when I am standing here telling you about the machine. This comes off, which means it's a free arm for you to run stuff around there, such as sleeves and whatnot. Your parts are in here. That's where the storage for the parts go. It has a push-pull bobbin winder. That's how you wind your bobbin. It's got 2 pull-up spindles for your thread. Let's go through with what you're going to have in your box, and I'm going to move you. Y'all are going to have to bear with me on camera angles because this is kind of complicated. But what you're going to have in your box that comes with this particular machine, okay? And I might be in your way from time to time, and I apologize for that. Mine came with this. I don't know if yours will, but this sits on here and it snaps in for when you're doing buttonholes and things like that. I don't know if yours comes with that or if you have a feed dog lever. I'm not sure. But with your machine, you will have, where is it? You'll have 4 plastic bobbins, okay? You'll have 4 of these in there. Personally, I don't like those on these type of machines. I use metal bobbins. That's just me. You'll have a seam ripper. This one has a brush on the end. If you don't have the brush on the end, you need to get a brush. I think the one that comes with yours is this, and it's a seam ripper. You pull it out, pop it in. That's your seam ripper. You can use these. I don't recommend them. I have one that I recommend, and it's linked. You'll get a set of screwdrivers. This is for changing your needles, doing this, working on your machine. You'll need these. You'll have a zipper foot. That is not a zipper foot. You'll have a button attachment. Buttonhole foot. Good grief. You'll have a buttonhole foot. You'll have it's a fabric guide. I don't use that foot because I use my foot on here. You'll have an overcast foot. And this is for doing like a serging type technique. You'll have a zipper foot for putting on zippers. You'll have a embroidery or it's called a satin stitch foot. And what that means is it glides and you can do embroidery with this if you choose to. Some may look like this, but mine looks like this. Yours might too. And then it comes with a rolled hemmer. It's called a hem foot. It's a rolled hemmer. I'm just going to show you the basics. The basic foot that comes on it looks like this or similar to this. And to put that on or to change your feet, you just put it under there. Let me turn the machine on. There's a switch over here. And you just pop it down and there's a little latch that catches them. So that's what comes with your machine. Now, and it will have a dust cover and some oil. Needles. It comes with a set of needles. And things you need to get started. It has 22 stitches and it has a one-step buttonhole, which means you just select this. There's a thing that you pull down back here for your buttons. Has an automatic threader, which sometimes I find that more difficult than trying to thread it myself. But anyway, let me get this stuff put up and I'll show you the basic stitch. Just so you know, this stuff, when you pull this out, there's a hole right here. This bag stores right in there for all your sewing machine parts. This is your bobbin. Okay? This is important to know. There's a little pull right there, and there's an arm right there. This pulls out. And when you wind your bobbin and you go to put it back in, you pull this lever out, hold on to it, put this in there. If I'm in your way, I'm sorry. And it will click right in that. And there's a groove right there, or an indentation. It goes right in there. Now, let me show you how to wind a bobbin, but first I want to tell you about different threads. Okay, so the types of thread. This is the normal. Oh, Lord. I got to get in this camera. This is the normal. These are Coats and Clark. This is what normal threads look like now. They have a groove in the bottom. And that is to catch your thread. You just pull it through there and it holds your thread secure. These type go on here like this. You don't have to worry about, them catching anything most of the time. The older ones or some threads have a groove in them. This is the older type threads, and some still may be this way, but they have a little catch right there where your thread is held. And this has to be up, because if it's down, your thread will catch it and it can break your needle and cause you all kinds of problems. So it needs to be up. But they normally don't have that kind anymore. Then I got this at Walmart. There's this kind, and they are wound differently as these from Hobby Lobby. And these go on sale, I know, once a month or every other week. But see how they're wound crisscross? Those can be put here, but it can break your thread. I have made this little gadget. I used a golf tee, just a little square board, screwed a dowel rod in there. It's through the bottom, glued it secure. Got one of those little hooks that close. Sometimes you have to use your pliers and pinch it shut. But anyway, this is a thread stand. Your thread goes on here, and it will put these on there as well. And it holds your thread. And then these wind up. You'd string them up through the string and then out. Put them behind your machine, and that's how you sew. With those kind of threads, it's a whole lot easier on your machine and for that thread to keep from breaking. Now, to wind a bobbin. I wind bobbins different than what they tell you to. Put your thread here. This is how you thread it. And I'm not trying to think that you're dumb by going so slow. I'm trying to help you. Problems. So you're going to go from here to around this screw right here. And there's a groove where you pull your thread. And it pops right in there. Your bobbin is going to go on here. To get my thread to hold, this is my trick. I take my thread from the inside to the outside. Okay, from the inside to the outside. I take my finger, hold it down, pull it over the middle of the hole. Then I hold this tight, pop this down on your wheel, like so, and your thread should be hung in there, but I didn't have it long enough. Pull it through, pull it across, hold it down, let it catch, and it's on there. Now you push this in. This will stop when your bobbin is full, and then you push your foot. Pull that out, and your thing won't move. See, that's easy peasy. I really don't need a green bobbin, so I'm gonna stop. Push this back in. Pull this off. Clip your thread. Do not forget to clip your thread coming out of this hole as close as you can. Then I'll show you how to insert this bobbin. This is the wheel that I pulled out to wind a bobbin. Push in to sew. To insert the bobbin, you pull your arm thing off, pull this down, take your finger, pull this bobbin out. Okay, now my camera is between my legs, so bear with me. You put your bobbin in while holding your thread. You take this thread and you'll run it around this right here till it clicks. Did you hear that click? When you hear that click on that little thing and it is in here, in that little groove, your bobbin's ready to go. I'll show you one more time. Take your bobbin, hold your thread. Hold your thread. Place your bobbin in the hole. Run your thread through that groove right there. And then pull it to the side and it'll pop right in there. Now you take your bobbin, hold that piece out, place your arm in that groove right there. Let me move you. Not trying to make you sick, just trying to show you. There is a groove. Right there. And it goes right in like that right there. Shut your drawer. Replace this. Now you're ready to thread your machine. Before I show you how to thread it, we have to put a needle in there. I prefer a 12 if you're going to do normal fabrics, cotton fabrics, things like that, nothing very heavy. And I'm going to use this little tool. I've showed this before. It has a flat edge and a rounded edge. Your needles have a flat side and a rounded side. This needle goes in straight with the flat side toward the back. So what you're going to want to do, I'm trying to stay in this thing. You're going to want to stick your needle in here. Sorry, I bumped the phone. Your needle is flat side in. Oh. I'm trying, y'all. Flat side in. It won't move when you have it in this groove, or it should not. I lower my presser. Gives me more room. Take my needle, and there's a hole. You might have to drag it to find it. Don't push real hard. My thing is shut. Poke it back in, or poke it in, back in. I had it in here at one time. Then you twist this knob as tight as you can twist. There is a screwdriver slot, but you don't have to over twist it or nothing. My prayer today is that I don't make you sick. So your thread is on your thread pin. Pull your thread. Trying to move slow. Go under this hook right here. Go down around that. There should be a thing up here. It's in there, but it's not up high enough. So what you want to do, the machine turns towards you. So go to your wheel right here. Turn it towards you until you see the arm in there. It's coming up, and there it is. Now your thread goes under that arm. So you go around this loop, around this hook, and up and under through this arm. Now you're going to want to take your thread and go around this guide right here. Oh my goodness. It's because I'm holding the phone, y'all. Seriously. Go around that thread guide right there. Okay, got it. Now you're going to put it in your needle, and I'll show you how to do it with this or another way. Okay, as you can see, this is the needle threader that comes with your machine. I hate them. My thread come undone. I usually put it in the other hole. But anyways, you're supposed to pull this thing down, pull your thread up through there, and this little doodad pulls it through your needle hole. You see how much trouble I'm having? I hate these things. Some of them are okay on some of the machines, but these, like this, are awful. Or you can take this right here, which is my best friend, pop your thread through that right there, pull back with your finger, hold the other one, run this down your needle till it comes through your hole. See it back here? Now you can pull it, or you can take, and I use this tool most of the time, but my thread closed. Now you just take and pull it through. Now if you have a hoop like this, you can catch it and pull. Now pull this out some, raise your presser foot, put it between the crack there, turn your wheel while tugging on this slightly, and this will pull your bobbin up. Now I just take my tool, and there's my bobbin. So I have my two threads right there. Now, the easiest way to sew is you have to use it. I use this line, okay? That's just me. My sister practiced on line paper. Now, she's 60-something years old. She actually had home ec in school. But this button over here, can you even see me? It's up here. Comes down. See it? That controls this. Now what you want to do is you want to practice getting this through the line, through the middle, when you sew. And you want your stitch, I'm going to pick you up. You want your stitch width on 5. Because that is a straight stitch. when you put it over here, when you turn it to 0, I'm turning it to 0. Watch it turns my needle. That way you could sew to the left. I do that quite often. My stitch length is at 3. And then this is on AB, which is straight stitch. So it will be on A. So you can practice one of two ways. Okay? You can try to practice down your line. Y'all, I've got you between my legs and I'm not even near my machine. So anyways, stitching on the line, which looks like this. My sister said she just went through sheets of paper. Once you can get the basic line, you're good to go. I know that sounds silly, y'all. Seriously, it sounds silly. But it works. It helps. You have to sew a straight line. Y'all have to excuse my work rag here. I was working on a vintage machine, and this was my stitch thing. So if you want to practice sewing a stitch, let me show you from the edge. I like to take the edge of my fabric and put it right on the edge of my foot. Okay? As long as you keep the edge of your fabric along the edge of your foot, you're going to sew straight if your fabric is straight. This is so much easier than a piece of paper. Pull it off. There's a cutter back here. Cut it. Make sure your thread is always under the crack and to the back. From the crack to the back. From the crack to the back. Okay, now you got that. Now you can take this edge, and to practice going straight, line this thread up with your presser foot and just sew straight lines for a while until you get to know your machine. Okay, so I know that was kind of lengthy and basic and steps that, you know, just was so simple. But when you need to learn, that's what you need. Simple. I hope it helps somebody. I really do. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them if I can. If I can't, I'll tell you I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll tell you I don't know. But anyways, if you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for future DIYs or lessons or whatever you want to call it. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching. You are a blessing. Goodbye.